Welcome back to the Grapple Theory podcast, and this week we are joined by the greatest team, TK Mambo Sunshine Machine. They are here joining us off what has been just a phenomenal year, guys. I've got to say, like, you just had an incredible 12 months in wrestling. I mean, I'll come to you, Mambo, first. Like, how has everything been for, like, in your guys' eyes? Because as fans watching it, I mean, the work you've done this last 12 months has been, I would say as a fan, it's probably like the best of your career, but how have you found it?
Thank you, man. That's really kind of you to say. It's been a lot of fun. I remember that much. It's been a hard year for Teeks and I in some ways, because we both moved out of London because of the goddamn landlords getting greedy. So, like, we've been the other sides of the country, but, like, thank God, almost every weekend we see each other still just doing the thing that we love the most. So that's been really nice. And we started the year. Did we start this year with the match with the Vets? Or was that last year? That was this year, yeah. Which was awesome because after losing the belts at Progress, we were like maybe a little bit directionless or rudderless or just not really on the show. And then we got like that awesome, like, what a great way to start the year. And like the Vets that are so amazing. And then let's see what else happened. Got to like travel over to America and like hang out at Kaiju Big Battle and do the stuff for Progress and be marks for the Rocky Steps and stuff. Ryan Cadbury's been a blast the whole time. And then that All In weekend almost felt like a season finale because I was away and the TK was away and then I was away afterwards. So that was like a almost unofficial off season. But it was like one of the funnest weekends of my entire life, I think. Not least thanks to everyone again out to Pro Wrestling Ceasefire. So thank you.
I was going to say, like, that All-In weekend was mad. I mean, like, I mean, we'll talk about all the matches, like, in terms of, like, all the stuff you've done over the year. But I think we've got to get into the thing that, like, when I told a few people that you guys were going to be on, like, the thing they asked about most is, like, oh, you got to ask about Wembley. And, right, obviously you got to ask about Wembley. But, like, I mean, how was that for you guys? TK, I'll come to you next. Like, I mean, it was just mental. I think as well it was mental because so many people only realized in the aftermath that it was you guys. Like, rather than while it was happening. So how was that whole experience?
I loved the whole day. I thought the whole thing was so fun to be a part of. I think, like, just because it's like a mix of, like, humble brag and, like, showing my age of, like, how long I've been a part of all of this stuff. That, like, back in like 2017 when Progress did the first America WrestleMania thing, like that absolutely boggled my mind. And then that we like kind of collabed with WWE where we did the WrestleMania Access stuff. So even like that at that time, and I think even now, if I ended up being put in that same situation, I think it would still be incredible. But just having that experience the first time and being like, oh my God, I'm backstage. There's Goldust. There's like, you know, like, well, I don't know why Goldust was the first one that came to mind, but you know what I mean? Just like, but just seeing all of those like famous like colleagues, I guess, in a way, and just like, you know, just being so starstruck by all of them and being like, oh my God, like, do I, you know, like the wrestling etiquette is like, yeah, I should go over there and introduce myself, but also like I'm so intimidated in the situation, I'm so overwhelmed by the situation, I'm not going to do that. Oh, but I should. Oh, but I can't. And just all of those emotions like happening. Which kind of, I suppose, like just through pure luck, skill, whatever, we were a part of this Wembley thing. And it was kind of the same situation. We have like your Malachi Blacks, your Brody Kings, Darby Allins, all of that, like walking backstage. And, you know, they're doing their own thing. They're not fussed about what we're doing because we're just extras. You know, we're not important in their, you know, whatever their schedule is. But where this all ties in is like, because we've kind of been on shows with all of these guys in the past, it was way more of like a, hey, like, you know, like, that's my guy from like, I haven't seen you in like X amount of years, but like, awesome to see you. And that was kind of going both ways, but there was like so many people, I'm sure for Mambo as well, that like, we just, between the two of us, between like the whole group of extras, like hadn't seen certain people in X amount of time because they're super successful, famous wrestlers now. And, you know, and we're just doing the extra stuff, but it was still really cool to be like, oh my God, you again, nice, lovely to see you, haven't seen you, and just like the reciprocity of like, hey, you're doing well, nice to see you, cool, as opposed to like, not that it was like bad with like the WWE stuff, but just like it took the pressure like way down, it brought the walls down a bit more, where it was just a bit more like, it's still like, you obviously like be a professional. Like we're still trying to treat ourselves as serious as possible in the setting that we're in. But at the same time, it just took out a lot of the like intimidating factors by being like, oh wow, I recognize you, I'm friends with you, I know you, okay, cool. Like you're just a little bit less of having to be like so performative of like, no, I'm doing a job. I'm actually no, I'm actually meant to be here. But in terms of actually being involved, like, and then for listeners, viewers who don't know, Mambo was the cameraman in the Will Ospreay match.
Like, I made industry secrets.
And equally, so like at least Mambo got a bit of camera time. Well, bits of them got camera time, but it turns out people only found out it was me involved in the show because like fans had filmed the Hangman bit for themselves because in the live cut in the edit, security guard 1 has already been tossed by the time the camera comes around, of which I am security guard 1. That's not the name they gave me, by the way. It's not like
on the credits, yeah.
You know, yeah, the credits don't roll when it comes up as like TK Cooper as you know. It's not. So like between me and Josiah, I think like I had already been biffed, and by the time they come around there, I think Josiah's in like the motion of getting tossed. Mm-hmm. So we didn't really get our full film credit here. So I don't think anybody realistically, if you purely just watched AEW, you would never have known that Mambo and I were on the show in any capacity because neither of us really got like a moment to be like, it's me. But all the same, like awesome experience. Like everybody backstage is so nice. Again, all the workers are so nice because again, like we know so many, and even all the ones that we didn't know are so polite and so. But I guess like everybody's just in their lane, you know, just like in the zone, trying like just want to put on a great performance. It's Wembley. I would like, obviously, I would love the opportunity for us one day to be on that other side of like, hey, we're just like putting our gear on, doing a match at Wembley. Wow, but that is. In the future, that is like fingers crossed, write down the goal, burn it, pray for it to happen, that sort of stuff, manifest it, etc. But like in the moment of just enjoying what the day was, I think it was so much more fun as well because it was just like there were like 30 of us, but equally it was just me and Mambo like hanging out for the day, and we were just at AEW, so it was quite an easy day, and like there was really no pressure to do anything. We were just there to be available, to be put in positions to do stuff. And, you know, like some people didn't get picked to do any kind of on-show, spot or whatever. Like, but equally, some people just got, some people were just stood at the top of the ramp when Will Ospreay came out, you know, just like holding the flag, and that was their job. And that's cool too. But, so, you know, there's like a range of stuff that you do or don't get involved in. And it was just, I think, like, it was just nice to be asked, and it was awesome to be involved.
I was going to say, like, you mentioned in terms of, like, obviously, like, a Wembley being, like, a huge goal. I feel like we perfectly set up Sunshine Machine versus Will Ospreay and Hangman Adam Page now, right?
Naturally, yeah. It just makes sense, yeah.
Pretty obvious where we go from it. Totally can't book it. What are you doing?
The first All In, I think we were like 8 seats back from the very back of the arena because we had like the super cheap seats. And then this year we were like a little bit closer, significantly closer. So hopefully, if we like follow that trajectory,
exactly. Like that's the thing. It's just following that. I think we need Sunshine Machine versus Ospreay and Hangman Page. I mean, they're a natural tag team anyway. Really, I feel like
the people are clamoring for it. It's just it's in the stars.
Absolutely, it's going to happen next year. Forbidden Door next year. That's what's happening. That is the true Forbidden Door. Everyone thinks it's Japan. This is the true Forbidden Door.
Nothing more forbidden.
It'd be funny if there was no one from New Japan and it was loads of old World of Sport dudes.
Like, loads of mix, like the new and the old World of Sports dudes, just really confuse people.
All the old ones, just like Kendo Nagasaki.
Kendo will be back for one more match. If it's a Forbidden Door, you better believe it. But I mean, obviously that's like a huge moment for that week. I mean, is it tough for you to, like, for you guys just as a team to pick a highlight from that weekend? Because you did so much over All In weekend. Like, you were everywhere. Like, and every match you had was incredible. Like, obviously, I feel like Copper Box is like the natural like pick of like what a moment, but like the match you had at Ceasefire was bonkers and hilarious and incredible, and like then you returned to Progress as well. Like, you had so many highlights that weekend. Like, how I imagine it's all just a blur in the moment, and you have to like, it's only looking back on it that you see all of that.
Yeah, I guess there was different things that were highlights for different reasons. Like, working backwards, Progress was fucking sweet, mostly because we like put the beach ball like that, and I really wasn't sure if people were going to think that it was just like ring crew had jumped the gun, or they'd understand that it was pageantry. But luckily, when it came out, and then the crowd gave us that reaction, I was like, yes, it's nice to be back. And then obviously, like, just all of like being at like such a grandiose show, and like for one of my like dream companies on Sunday was just fucking sweet. Especially when it didn't fuck up or anything, because I was like, oh my god, if I fuck this up, this is gonna suck. But and then Saturday, getting to wrestle the vets again, like just anywhere is like a delight, because they got such great minds and like approaches to wrestling. But then to do it at that stage, and I really wasn't sure like if having that many more people in the arena would mean that there was way more people that wouldn't really know who we are. They're just like there for the really famous wrestlers. So it was like really gratifying to have them know who we were and get what we were wrestling. It was really nice. And like props to Quilden for putting like, he knows how to book a wrestling show to a big head, man. Like, whoa. And it had all these fucking exciting hype packages and stuff. And then right there, we had the pyro. Oh, man. It was very, very, very...
He knows how to do it. He knows how to do it. The only thing I'd say about Andy is, like, he needs to maybe make a bit of a room for, like, a 15-minute break in a 10-match card. Like, sometimes that's a slot.
I think maybe it's a venue thing or something. I don't know, because I could see it for sure. But then I guess by the time people had gone to the bar, they'd still be at the bar when they're thinking, like, oh,
I think that's the thing, isn't it? It's like it's still always on the up. Like, again, like a Copper Box show, you know what I mean? Or like when they did the Donny Dome, like, you know, the other day, like it's such a like big card. It's a long card, but like everyone brings it. And so there's not a real lull. There's not a real moment of like, you don't have time for the adrenaline to die down. And so you don't really feel tired. It's all just up, up, up.
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, exactly. Like the atmosphere for that main event was still absolutely like bananas. So, I'm just gonna quickly blitz through why all the other ones. It was really fucking cool to wrestle Rio and Emerson for the first time. The only like slightly sad thing is just that in the mix of all of that was going on, we didn't maybe like get as much time to kind of get our heads in the game for the match as we all might have liked, because I think there was like three or four shows in that venue that day.
Yeah,
everyone was kind of all over the place. So, but I'd definitely love to do it again. Riot Cabaret is just always fucking outstanding, and we were with some culture, so that was obviously going to be a blast. But I think it was the biggest Riot Cabaret to date. Which
it was
fucking wild, especially when Shah and Grado were in. We were like watching that from the crowd. It was fucking nuts. And then Ceasefire was like honestly one of the best things, like best nights of my whole life, I think. When everyone was chanting like Ceasefire now for the wrestling match, I was like, oh, it's like you really can combine your two different like passions and try and make the world a bit less shit.
You did it great, and that match you guys had, like I'll come to ETK for next, but like the match you had at Ceasefire, we'll talk about Ceasefire more as a whole in a sec. But that match you guys had, like it was bonkers, because again you were following that in like genuinely what I thought was maybe, aside from Copper Box and Wembley, like the match of the weekend with Kanji Jordan Breaks. I thought that was incredible. And like you had to follow that. And like I was like, how are they going to follow that? And you followed it in the most bonkers way I've ever seen. But it was just it was like such a perfect main event for that show. Like how did you find it?
It is so funny to like give us the credit for structuring as if we've like, not that we didn't like construct the match at all, but just that like we couldn't possibly know how good Kanji and Jordan would, like, you know, there was the obvious elephant in the room, like that match is going to be really good, but like to not really have the like preconception that I think that match might possibly be the best match of this whole weekend, and we have to go on after it. So should we do a better wrestling match? And the answer being, nah, what if? And then going from, well, because like I can't really remember the exact process for it, but I just remember Shah like mostly leading the way of like, we kind of need to go in a different direction because we're not going to have a better wrestling match than those guys, so we need to do something else. And then it just kind of got out of hand, like just in the discussions of like, so maybe we just like take out the ref, and then it became like, well, maybe we just take it, maybe the replacement ref comes out. And we take maybe we take out that, and then maybe we take out that ref too. But then what if the third ref comes out? What if the third ref comes out and we don't take him out, but then we take him out later, and then so all this like stupid, like, but all these things you wouldn't normally consider, and because it's just like not it's just not the way that anyone would ever structure their wrestling match. So, and again, not saying that we reinvented the wheel by any means by doing this match, but just that we had to just tap into like what is the most like logical but bizarre thing we can do, because we just can't have a better wrestling match than Kanji and Jordan, but we still have to deliver like a main event level match. So what elements do we have to play with here that we can construct that?
Yeah.
Funny matches are so scary though, because like if people find them funny, obviously it's great. But if they don't, then it's just so
your crowd's scared. If you don't get many laughs, you're like, oh.
When we had the reactions from Jordan and Kanji, Shah was behind the curtain going like, don't call us the main event, just call us part 2, second match part 2.
It's just I think like some wrestlers are aware of this and some aren't. They're like, a lot of like wrestling comedy is based in the fact that like your audience know a bunch of wrestling tropes as well, and then especially for a show like Ceasefire, which isn't it is ultimately, it's a wrestling show and it's raising money for financial aid, but you can't guarantee, and to be fair, you can't, on any show, you can't guarantee everybody coming to the show understands the wrestling-based humor that you're trying to do. So there's a lot of times that like a wrestling, or a funny comedy wrestling spot will only land with the wrestlers and backstage, because it's like it's like an inside joke wink to something very specific and very niche. So yeah, like you need to know the bit to know the bit to know the bit sort of thing. So it's so doing that match on the first Ceasefire as well, where just as far as we know, nobody knows anything. Obviously, we've got like yourself and other wrestling fans are in the room who are going to get it. But if there was the chance that it was only going to get like haha, then like that is just not a risk I want to take. But the room was just so electric for like, no, not the ref, no, not the other, like it was perfect, like harmonious atmosphere for just like, they love the incredible wrestling from Kanji and Jordan, but they also love the incredible stupidity from the main event. Well, sorry, not the main event. Second match part 2 was also really good.
Yeah, but that's the thing, isn't it? Is like you got to give such, in terms of like big out shout out to all refs really, because I think that match was a sort of like perfect highlight of like the part that refs play beyond just being refs. And like again, someone like Tom Scarborough again, who like regular wrestling fans will know is like, he just loves it. He's like, whenever he's involved in the match, he just is so into being involved in the match that it's like so perfect. Like I don't know if you guys could see, like, obviously because you were busy, but like he was out like ringside, like once you knocked him out, and he was like getting his arm bandaged by the medic, and then he came out and he was like falling on the floor, untying everyone's shoes. Like it was like ridiculous. But he gets so into it, and that's what you want, isn't it? Like for everyone to be involved, like not just you guys as the refs, but for the refs to be that passionate about selling what you're doing as well.
Speaking of Tom, actually, I didn't realize that he was going to go and come back in like a sling. So when he did, I was like, that's hilarious. So just all that random extra little element. He just like, I don't know if he did discuss it with people, or whether he just thought like, I think this will be funny, and then just did it. But just, yeah, little bits like that I think are incredible. Just like great little extra, like unnecessary touches, but so awesome.
Yeah, for sure. Before we get into our first feature, I wanted, while we're sticking on the topic of All In Weekend, because I know as a little while ago now, and we've got some newer stuff to get into, but also that Copper Box match that you had against GYV, you won the belts. Like, again, that was like the culmination for you guys of that whole story you've been telling at RevPro of like, if we lose, we're split up. And I think that was like, because you all mentioned it like at the very start of like, I think Mambo, it was you mentioned it, who like you lost the Progress belts, and then like things were like a bit on and off for you guys, not just at Progress, but like sort of a lot of promotions. That was the push to get you back in RevPro regularly and back into like, it felt like it really got you guys back into that groove. It felt like that's what gave you that push to get to this next level that I think you guys are at now. Is that a fair assessment?
Because I would have said, sorry, ma'am, if you were going to go, I just something I had a thought on. Like when you were saying about like our last like calendar year. So yeah, we kind of did. I don't want to say fell off, but you know, like our title reign ran its course. So you know, we just needed a break from Progress and RevPro, but we still wanted to be involved somehow. But then in the time we were away from there, you know, we were. I think this is just purely coincidental, but you know, we became Pro Wrestling Chaos Tag Team Champions. We became the Kamikaze Tag Team Champions. We became then we moved into Europe and we became German Wrestling Federation Tag Team Champion. In Denmark, we became Body Slam Tag Team Champions. So like when we weren't doing stuff that isn't like in your main line of sight, we were still we kind of just moved Sunshine Machine and started doing stuff in the periphery that was like maybe not as watched by most of Brit Rest and stuff, but we were still cooking and doing like some big things elsewhere that I think it kept us like fresh for when we did end up cycling back in to into RevPro and stuff. And yeah, we did need like a good hook to justify why we were back in RevPro and not just be doing like turning up every now and then and like, oh look, it's the team that's doing really well and they need somebody to beat. Here's Sunshine. So like a better way for us to be used and promote ourselves, help sell tickets for RevPro, just something important. And then but just like literally by doing our little what is it like our little working holiday away doing other stuff that we were able to come back and like not be like off our groove or anything, still be able to like go. We didn't like, even though we weren't booked, we were still busy. If you know what I mean? So
no, of course. Yeah. I think that's the thing. Like again, like you're totally right in terms of like I didn't want it to sound like you guys weren't doing anything all that time, but like again, you're totally
no, of course not.
But like it's got to be again in a way like almost nice to be doing that, to sort of like have that break from like two places where you were pushed so heavily for so long. And like take a little step back and like just do something that's a little different, a little more. No, again, like not unusual, but a little more like under the radar, and a little more like getting reps in other places where you can't be as regularly because you were being so booked regularly on Progress, RevPro, etc.
Yeah, it's really nice. And it's one of the things both of us have always wanted, like I don't know, more than like money and things, is just to be able to see different places and like see the world through doing the thing we love, which has been really nice. Like I feel like pretty at home in Berlin now. We like have our little eateries that we go to and the bars that we go to, and we made like a whole bunch of new friends in that locker room. And like Body Slam, to me, I've been doing Body Slam for a long time, but like it's really nice to like be able to go to Arborg or whatever, and that is not how you say it, or like Copenhagen or the other place, and like be familiar with these places. Yeah, and like that's been really cool. And yeah, like so people kind of, I guess you learn like different things about your style and like tweak it in different ways based on like the different audiences that like different cultures in different countries breed, which is cool. But then coming back, it was really gratifying because in a way the story was that like we needed to like strip back and not worry about the fans and just like focus on winning matches again. And like, because so much of, I think, what I find fun, at least, about wrestling is like the back and forth play with the crowd as well as everything else. So when we were like taking that away in a bid to like grow as performers and like have a better fundamental game to hopefully bring it all together, I'm just really grateful that like the fans stuck with us and cared and didn't be like, oh, they're turning their back on the fans or anything like that. They seemed to be like, oh shit, we really want you to still win.
Yeah, that could have gone either way, couldn't it? It could have been like is this like a sort of like a semi-heely sort of turn thing where they're turning their back on the fans? But like, I think you guys are too over for that, if I'm honest. I think like, again, you just look at that reaction you got on Copper Box. Like, as well, like, TJ, again, when you like sort of like left the ring and everyone was like, like, what's happening? And you were like, that pop was huge.
Yeah, it really does go back to what Mambo was saying about, I think we kind of we're on the same level of, like, RevPro regular, 229 has like a couple of hundred people, Sheffield, similar, Stevenage, similar, like all the other venues just kind of like dotted around. So then when you hear that like Copper Box is probably going to be like roughly 4,000 people, you think like, how many of those people know who we are? So like, is our story really going to hit? Is it going to resonate with these people? So then like, when you get to that moment of GYV holding Mambo by like the Scragglers here, being like, come on then. And I'm like, oh, I don't know if I want to do it. Oh. And then the whole place is like, get back in the ring. Get back in the ring. I'm like, oh, dude, oh no, my back. Oh, I'm out of here. No, I can't. And then everyone's like, oh, there's like, okay, cool. Wow. This is like, if they weren't into the match before they got here, like, we have done our job in this moment to get 4,000 people to go, get the fuck back in the ring, you son of a prick. And then obviously the explosion when I run back down, I pull Gibbo out, give him the headbutt, yada, yada, all of that. And then into the eventual win is like, yeah, really bucket list stuff for like very much what man was, how gratifying it was to have a whole crowd care that much about the outcome.
Yeah, for sure. And again, I think that whole weekend as a whole sort of, I think, perfectly encapsulates you guys as a team in terms of like the diversity in what you offer. Like, again, you can have the outstanding tag match, or you can have the bonkers, ridiculous tag match. And like, you both have your both like individual solo stuff as well. And like, you both now as a team and individuals have those different places where you can showcase all of that stuff. And that must be really nice as well, where you can really flex those muscles.
Definitely feel very lucky.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like, again, the other thing I was going to bring it on to was the fact that, again, while he's not here, Mambo, I wanted to ask you about like Chips McSwings at Attack, because obviously
oh my god, what a douche.
I know, right? Like, yeah, what a dick.
I very briefly beat him in a ladder match with brilliance. Took my gold away.
Great match, so yeah.
Hell of a match.
I was sat like just off of
Yeah, I thought you were there. I felt like I saw you in the crowd or something. Yeah.
I think it did eventually ask me to do come to the main event, which I was pretty happy about. But otherwise, yeah, just there with the pom-poms.
Yeah, right? Obviously, it was short-lived, but cheering Mambo on still.
Chuck Mambo over huge over Chip Jackson.
Had to be.
Well, to be honest, Chips and Swings could come up in this next fun feature we've got. Because I remember last time you guys were on, we did an Anatomy of a Pro Wrestler and asked you about you guys. Now, I'm asking you guys about your locker room mates, because this feature is called Dishing the Dirt. And I'm going to ask you some questions about your mates in the locker room. And I'll come to you each individually. Obviously, you can agree on each answer if you think. But I'm going to ask you each question, and I want you to let me know which member of the locker room, any locker room, RevPro, Progress, Ceasefire, you can be out at Colossus out in Margate, you can be at Riot Cabaret, anywhere you want. Which member of any designated locker room comes to mind for you guys? So the first one is who's always running late? Mambo, I'll come to you first.
Always running late. Yeah, Mills has a tendency to party. You can get a little bit caught up with a lion. That's the first person that comes to mind. Although the other thing I was thinking of was that terrible time Crowley at Riot Cabaret. Like, I didn't.
I heard Crowley. I had Crowley down for my end. So.
All right, one of those guys.
Was he really late?
He had a bit of a stressful day. I think he forgot the belt, and so then went back for it. But then, like, decided that it was like he was never going to make it or something, so he had to go back again or something. It just sounded like a howler. But he still knocked the match out.
Something like he forgot the belt, got like X amount of like wherever, and was like, okay, I'll go back and get it, and then got X amount back to his place, and was like, if I do go, I'm not gonna make it back to the show. but in time to do the match. But then just like had to turn around on the M whatever and just come back to the show without the belt. So he was super stressed. But like, yeah, the amount of times I've seen Crowley, I feel like he's always just turning up like just before he's needed. I mean, that might not be true, but off the dome, I would say Crowley.
And he still knocks it out of the park. He still knocks it out of the park every time.
He always knocks it out, man. Yeah.
It's probably like sort of
Well, the next one is the next one's good for if you guys like do like if you're in the carpool and stuff, because it's who has the worst music taste. TJ, I'll come to you first on this one.
The worst.
Yeah, I mean, it can be worst is subjective, right? With music, it's like
yeah.
Like for you, who put something on where you're like, oh, what is this?
Yeah, I'm not really sure. I'm trying to think of the cars I've been in to then like rank the people, but like referee Oscar Hart. Like, I don't know. I'd only be listing off all the people I actually like, but then I can't think of anyone I don't like. You know, like just all of the most recent cars. I'm thinking like Oscar Harding also always just has like a wicked random selection of stuff just kind of playing in the background. Tate's always got a really good playlist.
That surprises me. You'd think that Tate wouldn't have a good playlist.
Tate plays a lot of pretty.
Yeah.
Howlin' Herman and the Melvins.
Yeah, I don't have one at the moment, Mambo, but
who are we riding with that found all those WWE mashups and like every so it started up with like good puns where they'd mix like the head of the table with like something and then and by the end it was just loads of blowjob jokes. It's like amazing head and like something head. It's not a very good story the way I tell it. But
Bobby Roode, glorious head. Yeah, classics, all the classics.
Is that what I do, man?
But let's get
there was OJ and Amira. But I mean, I wouldn't have even classed that as like a bad playlist because that was just funny.
No.
But again, that says a lot about the couples you guys have, where like if nothing springs to mind as bad, they all just bang their journeys.
We're deeply musical people, we don't ride with people that are not.
We're so versatile that there is no bad car journeys when we ride with people, you know.
Yeah, that's fair. The next one is the next one's almost like the running late thing, but it's in at the show. Who takes the longest to get ready? Either like for their match or say if you guys are leaving and like someone's just like lagging behind in the locker room, you're like, come on.
That for sure is Michael Oku. That he will just sit in his gear forever. And anytime we want to go to like the pub afterwards, even if he was on first, he will still be in his gear after the main event.
I think we had Amira and Oku on like last year ahead of All In Weekend, and like Amira just like totally like dogged him out on that question. Was like, yeah, it's him.
Well, there you go. Straight from the horse's mouth.
Who would know it? I guess I had to say Michael Oku too. I can't really. No one springs to mind, so
I didn't. If Amira's saying it as well, then clearly it's very accurate.
Yeah, it's not shade. It's just the truth. I'm just adding validity to her statement.
The next one is the next one's my favorite on the list. Mambo, I'll come to you first with this one. It's who would you, under no circumstances, let a family member date?
There is no one coming to mind. I was trying to look like there was someone awkward that I had gossip about, but
If there's not anyone, like someone like a member of your family walks in arm in arm with someone from the locker room, and you're like, no, not happening.
God damn it, man. All right. Who would look the worst around my dad's arm? Well,
and this is no shade because big up to her, but there you could say someone like Amira because like I think like no, like you got to be
shade.
Yeah, no, you just I feel like you've got to be a certain kind of person to deal with Amira's crazy, like, and I mean that in the best way because I love Amira, she's great, but like you know what I mean. I feel like Oku's obviously
Amira.
Let me can I have a thing? Can I?
Yeah, no, of course.
TK, make a little dive.
I'll tell you mine. It's Brendan White.
Good call. Really good.
Why is that?
There's no way I don't even have sisters, but there is no way if my sister walked in the room with Brendan White on her arm, I would be okay with that. Like, I have actually no problem with the man, Brendan White, the workhorse, as he's formerly known. But just something about that big bald head, that's just not rocking with me. So it's just not trippable. Not in my bloodline. Not in my family tree. Absolutely not.
No, you don't. You don't risk the baldness becoming hereditary. Yeah.
No, I got no one.
I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy.
Who do I forbid my family from seeing? I'm gonna say.
It's a tough one.
No one in my family will go out with Kenta.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Speak for yourself. Yeah. No, wait, Cara, no. Ethan, he's too handsome.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, see, they're all coming out now.
Did you mean Ethan Allen or did you mean Lycos?
I'm going to have to have said Ethan Allen because I would never give away someone's name.
Yeah.
Good respect.
Maybe you can bleep over
that. I will. Yeah, I'll bleep over that. All right, that's fine.
If you get this Atlanta Falcons Mambo and just
yeah, I like Simpsons. Like, yeah.
Sorry, man, I'm moving slow, and this is probably in much bundle.
It's totally. So I think you sort of named 3 in very quick succession at the end there. So I think we'll let you off.
All right then.
As I just calmed us down. But the next one is it's sort of like the music one again. It's all opinion based, but we've had there are definitely guys and girls that you wrestle with that people have said the answers for this one. It's outside the ring. Who has the worst dress sense? Yeah. PK feels like
I would have said us.
Yeah,
I would have said us all the times because equally, I think we just kind of. We have weirdly gotten like compliments from Will Ospreay about like, wow, you guys like look so cool. But like, I know for a fact that we just like, probably the least likely to buy new clothes, for the longest time, you know, like run it all the way till it has like infinite holes in it. But there was definitely a time at your call where we turned up just in pretty standard normal clothes. And Ospreay was like, wow, you guys look the biz. And I just remember it so distinctly because I was thinking like, excuse me? We look like this all the time. And we really haven't made the effort that you think we should have. So it does boggle the mind. But if I can't dob ourselves in, and obviously I don't even know if Mambo feels ashamed or upset by that fact of me suggesting that.
But different. I guess we're either the coolest or the
I'm worst dressed.
I feel like people have said you guys, but not in like a bad way. They said like, so we've had you guys as an answer in the same way we've had.
What the fuck? Who was it? They're never dating my dad.
That's the final straw. That's it.
Was it Kenta?
Unbelievable.
Can I say that shit about?
Was it Cara? Was it Ethan?
You Cara? They're gonna say
it was all of them actually. It was all of them. Yeah, it was everyone.
There's a diss track.
No, that would be great. Oh my god, Sunshine Machine diss track against Kenta and Gara. That's what the world never knew it needed. No, we've had you guys as an answer in a similar way. We've had like Crowley and Gene Money as an answer where people are like, oh, like they dress cool, but it's the sort of look that only they could pull off, and if someone else wore it, it would be a bit weird.
You know, once actually me and Gene got the same leopard print dungarees for Christmas. We both wore them to unboxing, and we were both really embarrassed.
I feel like I vaguely remember a story about that. Yes.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, brilliant. Now it's all about revenge on the people who said that about you.
Yeah, can you tell us? Is that GDPR?
But genuinely, I know that it's
on the podcast.
Yeah, I honestly couldn't remember in terms of like wouldn't want to dob anyone in and then be wrong.
You're just trying to get us to go through all the old apps. hit that like and subscribe.
Just all the old episodes. You'll find it. Someone will say it.
Yeah, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and be sure to watch back this episode.
In the corner, there we loads of advertising. Thank you guys. I appreciate the free advertising. I like it. I like the plot. That's exactly why we're
try to use that little clip.
That's the YouTube home screen video right there. Just you guys said, like, do it over and over again.
Hell yeah.
But, well, the next one we have had you guys as an answer for as well, but it's the better version. It's you guys, you've forgotten your gear for a show. You've forgotten your gear, and you've got to go borrow someone's gear. But it's one size fits all. You can pick whoever you want. Whose gear do you look at, and you're like, I could pull that off.
Oh, that's a nice thing to hear. Yeah, I got one of the girls' gear because they have like such cool gear, like layers to it and shiny stuff on it.
I think that would look good. I think you could rock like a Nina Samuels or something, or like an Alexis Falcon.
You know, I wish I seen Nina Samuels' hair, and I've always thought it'd be cool to have like a quiff. But I never really YouTubed it.
Yeah, are we limited to hypothetical? Are we limited to like our immediate Brit Rest colleagues, or is this like anybody?
No, I feel like anybody. I think anybody opens up to. Let's say Brit Rest. Let's say indie rest.
Yeah, because I was gonna agree with Mambo. I would have been like, I reckon like one of the Stardom girls like kits would be cool because they always have like the most like intricate gear. Yeah, I think would just be one to wear. But okay, like local. What then? Who do I want to cosplay as?
We had, I think one of the ones I guarantee I definitely remember is we had LA Taylor on, and she said she'd want to like do a gear swap with you guys. Like, so you guys, but I think we hinted at it. If you guys are up for it, we were trying to get Lee for Progress for Unboxing this year to do you guys versus the Experience where you swap gears.
Oh, I didn't. Yeah, only if I get LA's like Undertaker gear, you know, with the shoulder pads on.
I think that'd be good. I think that could work. I think that could work.
Nice.
I think my two go-tos would probably be Mills because I like his big coat, or Tate because I actually do think his Weatherspoon gear is pretty sick.
Tate's an acquired taste, that gear. That's again, like you say, it's very Weatherspoon. It's like the carpet. But I can see it. I think that, yeah, it'd be an interesting one. I'm not sure what people would make of your character if you came out dressed like that.
I'd maybe one. I feel like Elijah always has Dynamite gear.
Yeah, that's a good one. Elijah does have some like sick gear.
So maybe
I mean, there's plenty. Again, like I feel like just generally, like there's so much sick gear about. Like you're almost spoiled for choice.
Man.
I feel like I keep thinking of all the people with cool coats because I was also thinking like, oh, maybe JJ Gale as well because I just like his sweet coat.
You just want a coat to wear to the ring.
Yeah, I just want a sweet jacket. I think.
Yeah, like Nico used to have a jacket, didn't he? He hasn't worn it as much recently. He does wear it. He wears it on and off. Sometimes I see
old thing. So for a hot venue, I think you're on the brink of dehydration by trying to get to the ring.
The coats are risky games to play based on the weather. Like.
Actually, I was at this festival at the summer, and I sent TK like the coolest jacket. It had all like sparkles and everything over it, but he disagreed.
Oh,
he really likes if we both wear them. Also, it's 250 pounds.
Okay, yeah, maybe that's fair. Although you could do a Sunshine Machine jacket, jacket mate. I think that'd be cool.
You know, because you definitely remember this. You turned it into a clip, but you know when Mambo told the story on the last time we were on here about the Disney film, The Boy Who Could Speak to Badgers.
Yeah,
it's like the jacket. It's like the jacket equivalent of that.
Right. It was a really good jacket. The Boy Who Could Speak to Badgers was a sick film, so it's the exact same. I'm right again.
And the only thing that could offer it is you watching that whilst wearing your sick jacket.
It'd be the ultimate hangover day. Yeah.
What a world that would be. What a world. When that's what you can do. I think some signatures there. I feel like, yes, Sunshine Machine jacket would be a, like, gotta make it like the Ospreay one where it's really long, like proper trail shiny. Like, I think that'd be,
ooh. The fluffy cuff as well.
Yeah, I think we're on something here. New gear.
They come weirdly short. They just didn't quite fit. Like a little bit too tight.
Yeah. Incredible. Well, yeah.
Kind of.
I think we peaked. I think the episode's peaked. I don't know where we go from here. But the next one, TK, I'll come to you first with the look of shame on your face. It's the next one's who would throw the best party in the locker room? Who would throw the party that yeah.
Yeah. If that's an answer if that's an answer that's allowed, I would 100%.
I think it's allowed. I think it's allowed if we don't delve too much into why it would be the best one.
Because he's a walking body. He just already is buying.
He's just the man. That's just. There's no secret agenda. He is just the party. He is the party.
Yeah. I have heard that.
One time he pulled me aside at a club. I was like, man, that's sick kind of you to give me a drink. And he looked so seriously into my eyes. But I have spent every penny I've ever had making sure everyone has fun. It's like,
and I hope everyone did have fun after that.
I think they did.
There you go then. That's all right. As long as the money was well spent.
I think he still spent it.
Pretty well. The last one, I'm going to say you can't say each other because that would be too easy. The last one is, who would you want as your partner in the zombie apocalypse?
Does it have to be a wrestler?
Yeah. Actually, no. I mean, like, no. If you want to say a ref, I was confused where you were going with that. But yeah, if you want to say like a ref or something, that's fine. Like, if they'll be involved in the indie wrestling sphere.
Okay.
But you could say a ref or like a promoter or someone if you wanted.
The thing is, most of us are really quite. Can you guys hear that banging?
A little, but not bad.
No, okay, good. Just go shut the door.
I don't really know who else. Not really sure who else has kind of like street awareness. That would really be.
That's the thing I always say to people, like, it's what you want someone for. Like, do you want someone that you can like sort of throw to the wolves and run away kind of thing, or do you want someone who like fight side by side with you? Like,
that was my first thought. Who do I want to sacrifice? But then, like, if it's a zombie apocalypse, I obviously want to survive with someone because it would be, I don't want to be I Am Legend and just be hanging out on my own. So,
really, you want someone with like practical skills?
Yeah.
He's going to have to do a lot of DIY and things.
Because like I didn't want to go for like the safe answer, but I do think my answer is going to be Mills. Not just because I'm not allowed to pick Mambo, but because he's also one of my best mates, and his dad is also a landscape gardener, and I know Mills works for him every so often, so he's got those like practical building skills. So we need like a shelter or anything. I think between me and him, we can both knock it up. So
that's a good answer. I like it. Also, like the fact that he's just tough as shit, right? Like. That's not bad.
He's just he's true grit,
He's true grit. Connor Mills is someone you want by your side. Like that's, I think it's a better answer. Aside from any of the building experience, it's just a great answer. And then with that on top, like you're looking at top tier survival. I think.
I feel like maybe Gene Money. He'd have the kind of left field thinking that you need to survive such hard times, and if not,
Money's the wild card choice. That is no one. I'll be honest, love you, Gene, but no one has ever said Gene Money for that.
Is that right? I feel like we'd go down laughing, and I can live with that.
That's all you want. A bit of comedy on your way out.
Yeah, we had a great time in Philadelphia. There were no zombies.
Well, I don't know. It's Philadelphia. There might have been a couple.
Maybe.
It was a gas leak.
I love that. Well, that's brilliant. And like before we wrap up, I do want to get to touch on upcoming Pro Wrestling Ceasefire, 7th of November. You guys, first of all, like, remember, we'll come to like maybe like a bit of like the background to it in a bit. But first of all, you guys, again, no, are we calling it main event this time? Or are we calling it a match on the card?
Yeah, a match on the card.
Match on the card. A four-way tag match with User Complex, Saiden Samuels, and True and Lacey. Like that's a crazy match. That's a wild match to be in. Like that must be like it's gonna come to you first. Like after again, especially after the last not ceasefire, not main event that you guys were in. Like to follow up with this one, I feel like it's going to be crazy in a different way.
It is very much up the ante. We've escalated. I say we. I'm not part of it, but I'm part of it as far as I'm a part of it. I'm not a part of it like man. But the stakes have been raised. It's completely like we've thrown everything out the window now. Where this, if you fought the East City Butchers, I think that's what they're called, versus Sunshine Machine was ridiculous enough. Add why not add two more credible teams as well. And True and Lacey and the Complex. So I can only imagine what we might get up to in this match. Because again, the venue isn't exactly super big, so there's not exactly space for four teams to not kind of turn into combustible elements. So whatever happens on the 7th, I'm very much looking forward to it.
I was going to say, you guys, last time you faced off against Medusa Complex, you didn't even contain it to the building.
Yeah.
Who knows what to expect?
Go follow Spinebuster Media on YouTube, and you can see for yourselves a preview of the upcoming chaos.
And that was a preview. I mean, I tell you what, that was wild. I mean, like, again, in terms of just purely Medusa Complex, having them back, like having Charlie back,
it's so good there, yeah.
Like that's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be a lot of fun, and like that's the thing is like in terms of just them for this match, like. You've got to sort of like somehow up that as well. You've got to make it more wild than like the dumpster fighting and the street fighting you had last time.
Well, I think it's got all the perfect ingredients for a lot of really exciting wrestling and a lot of tomfoolery.
Yeah.
A lot of high fives.
And then you're facing True and Lacey right again the next night, right? A Purpose.
Yeah.
A split match.
When there will be no more.
So this match is like the Amuse Booth, the taster for that match, and then you're going to absolutely go to war with each other the next night
in the library.
We're about to make someone say, "I quit."
Yeah. Obviously, it's not going to be you guys, so it's going to be one of True or Lacey. Like TK, you have a preference? You have a preference on which? Because I know you guys have. Again, you've had that bit of animosity with them over at Purpose. Like, is that one you prefer to make say I quit?
Which of them? Cool thing. The award.
Sorry?
There was that like cool...
oh, yeah. I think it was Mark that officially, swung the chair and broke the esteemed Combat Doubles Championship.
And ever since that day, I've had a great with that man.
Yeah. And now you're going to get vengeance. And I knew
in that moment he would rue the day.
And you knew somehow it would be in the library.
Where else do you sell your feuds?
The natural match, right? The natural. I mean, the perfect I quit match in a library is to get like a really boring book, right? Just read it to him until he's like, no.
Nice. Till he's down.
Get him in front of like Camel Clutch and then just like read him the world map or something.
Oh, genuinely, if you do that now, that will be possibly the greatest thing I've ever seen in wrestling. Like, I thought it was.
Watch out for that.
I thought it was All In weekend having 60,000 fans singing Final Countdown to Daniel Bryan, but like, I think if you put either True or Lacey in a Camel Clutch and read him a book, that might be the greatest thing I've ever seen. Please do it though, please. I'm going to be disappointed if you don't now. So.
Well, the cogs are turning now. I've got so many boring things I can do now. Just like it's not what I was thinking, but I love it. I love where your head's going, and now my head's in that direction as well. Mark, I was gonna say Mark and True, watch out, but Mark and Kieran, watch out because you're about to be bored to death.
I appreciate it. I mean, that's the thing, isn't it? Again, like going back to what we said earlier about Ceasefire and the fact that like that's the sort of comedy where like if you're not like maybe in as much with wrestling, you're gonna be like, what the fuck is happening here? Like. You're going to be like, what the shit is this? But I feel like the hardcore fans will like it. Fingers crossed. But again, I mean, it's great. And like, love the way you've been doing. Obviously, I know you guys have only had one show, but like the social media side of it, the work, Mambo, like that you and Gio have been doing in setting all this up and putting this together has been incredible. I mean, like, how much does it mean to you to see, like, again, just the outpouring of support you guys have had for what has essentially been one coming up to your second show?
Yeah, no, it's been really, really, they're motivating and rewarding, and because I guess the way it's that cynical people will try to polarize the debate does make it quite scary to try and which is fucked up, to try and just raise like money and awareness for people to be able to eat and get Medicaid and to have like peace. Should not be like a scary or controversial thing, and it's not. It's remarkably uncontroversial, but it's been, just thank you to everyone, people that came, people that offered to work, people that offered to like do all the like extra bits as well, like run the bar, and like people were offering to ref and camera, and so much that because the venue's kind of small, we had to say like, I'm really sorry, like this time no, but like hopefully there's like, you'd hope there wouldn't be need for like a load more shows, but even when a ceasefire is achieved, there's gonna be so much rebuilding to do that you can imagine we could be running shows till we're like not in the business anymore, and there'll still be work to do because so much so much damage has been done and is still being done. I just huge thank you to everyone that's bought tickets and people that have donated, and even the people that just give it like a positive rub online to like keep the algorithm going, because I think I definitely have. I'm pretty sure the Ceasefire account has, and probably Gio has had like Twitter being a bit like weird and trying to look at and stuff. So keeping the algorithm play or whatever of the posts alive, like it raises money for people that like need it so much. But also the other thing that I was really proud about is we had Friends of Alex there with an information stall, and I think they signed up like 14 volunteers, and they got rid of like all of their educational information and stuff, because sadly, like you'd think like you just raise money and then like it pays for food and medical aid and that can go there, but like it's not very useful if then like the political situation is still allowing the people that just got jabs to be like sniped. So it feels good that it's like both awareness and money raising. So.
Absolutely. It's great work you're doing. It's great. And like before we started recording as well, like mention like how has that first foray been into promoting? I know you say like Gio does a lot of that. Like a big shout out, Gio, great guy, like incredible work. But like how has that been for like both of you taking that first step into booking the show and like running a show rather than just being on the show?
Well, I'll be completely honest with you. The whole thing started out because I was texting Gio about going to one of the national marches in London, and he couldn't make it, I think, but he was like, oh, maybe we should do a fundraiser. And I was like, I'll tell you this, I have no organizational skills and very little spare time, but I'm down if you are. And he was like, don't worry, man, because he's run like South London Wrestling, he's run Soul and stuff, and he's done like quite a lot of like fundraiser ones as well, so he knows how to like play the game. And he is a force. I'm not like being humble. I'm kind of the pretty face, and like I think I kind of was the first one that was maybe like more involved in like raising awareness for Palestine and stuff. But he is like such a. I think the next day he had a provisional card, and he'd like been in touch with like 3 different venues and put a poster together, and like he is just like so hardworking. And I mean, I really enjoy that. Like we're able to create a platform that has like so many great wrestlers on and provides like such a good show for a good cause and stuff. And mostly what I do is contact breweries about getting free beer. Although, I mean, I don't know how many spoilers I can give away, but we're talking about possibly taking it a little on the road across some of the other cities in the south. So I have been, put the fingers out in Bristol. The fingers? The fingers.
Yeah. Now in Bristol, just split it up.
It's really representing the.
It's not the vibe you're going for or anything. That's a different kind. But that'd be great. I mean, I know that like I feel like we've spoken before about like sort of like again like feelers out there and like taking it on the road. Like I know I've spoken to Gio about that sort of thing as well. I mean, again, as a former Riptide regular, like I would love to see you guys back at the Bright Helm. I'd be there for that. Like,
yeah, that would be
a throwback. Again, that's one of those ones going back to where we talk about having an entrance jacket. That's where you don't need one because it was always hot as fuck there. Like it was always sweltering in that thing.
Even in winter.
Even in winter, it was ridiculous. In winter, it was bad. In summer, it was bordering unbearable.
Yeah. I tell you what, though, do you remember the last ever Riptide show, the venue it was in? It was like a youth club.
Yeah, the Brighton Youth Centre, yeah.
Yeah. Because Gio sent me a text like, hey, man, been looking at that awesome like last Riptide venue. Not good. It's been Bulldogs.
Oh no! I haven't I legit haven't lived in Brighton for like 5 years, so like I didn't know that. That's gutting. Oh,
they shouldn't have said it to me with a laugh.
Oh, I'm heartbroken. No, that was a lot. TJ can't believe it either.
Yeah, we're all heartbroken.
That was a good day. They only went a couple.
Another good thing, God.
That was so much fun. Like at the end, I feel like you guys never got a break in Brighton in terms of the heat, because then the other one, the other venue was the outdoor theatre, wasn't it? You had that one. They did that one show there, and that was also like hottest day of the year.
That was so
that's the thing. Sunshine Machine bring the sunshine to Brighton.
Yeah, I guess it's their own fault.
It's like always a warm day. Always a warm.
That was one of our first 10 matches actually at that outside show. It's like
that was true.
Being like one of our first 10. And the sun set while we were doing the match too, actually. That's kind of cool.
Well, that was the moment. That was it. That was the moment it all began.
I suppose it works.
the genesis of the beginning of the etc.
Exactly. I was gonna say as a final as a sort of like final ceasefire push, but also like harking back to what we said before. I mean, TK, I'll come to you because I know you're not in charge of like you say, like the booking, the organizing and stuff, but like some Mambo and Gio, but like, are you going to be in?
I'm not involved. I'm not involved at all, other than being in the matches.
No,
and support and backing up my guy.
No, that's what I mean. That's what I was going to say with Mambo and Gio, the ones involved. Are you going to be like in their ears, being like, "Don't have us follow Kanji and Jordan again"?
Oh no, I mean I would do that again in a heartbeat. I had no problem. I was one of the few people I think that wasn't really that fussed about whether the match was good or not. I just I was there for the cause,
But
it just so happened to be the match was also the match was also awesome. Yeah. Like realistically, the matches have no bearing on the show. What we're actually trying to do is just like everybody have a good time and raise some money. So
yeah.
I'm going to give you a firm disagree on that one. I think it's great wrestling matches, and everybody in the roster went out of their way to smash it.
Yeah.
TK's just luckily.
I'm not saying they didn't.
but you're not bothered about following a 5-star classic. That's the thing. And I like the confidence. I admire the confidence in it, because you guys know that you're going to have a good match. They're like genuinely like watching you guys for years now. Like it feels like every match you have is a good. I don't know if it feels that way to you guys, but it feels like every match you have is a good match, and the crowd are always with you, and like you always get people up for it. Like even if it's not necessarily like the match that maybe like you thought could have gone better or something, I feel like you always get the crowd going and have the crowd feel like that was a great match.
Ah, thanks, man. That's nice to hear. I remember that on the long car rides home after matches. Shit the bed on.
So good.
That's fine. You know what my voice ringing in your ears. That's fine. Imagine someone else saying it, but like,
yeah, you got a lovely voice.
But that's the thing. Like, I mean, yeah, it's been great watching you guys. I'm like, the last question before we've got 2 final questions. That one of them is a very interesting one that I think you'll enjoy. But the last question I have for you guys is this is actually coming out. Well, we're recording it now. It's coming out on Halloween, so almost in vain of dishing the dirt. I want to not necessarily dish dirt, but I want you guys to book me the ultimate Brit Rest horror movie. Like, let's say like solid cast of like 5. Obviously, you guys can be involved if you want to be, or you can just be directors. Let's say solid cast of 5 characters. Who in Brit Rest would you want? Who do you think would fit the bill for the Sunshine Machine horror movie?
Is this including the bad guy? Like the
yeah. Like you got to have like the killer and like like I guess like the final girl, the first one to die, etc. Like the classic horror movie tropes. PK, you got any thoughts first?
Yeah, so you can pick any 4 people at all. They sit down, they turn the tally on, and they're watching an Amira Blair match, and then credits.
Oh,
no, I'm kidding. I just wanted to get that in because I knew that was really funny. So, but otherwise, no, I'm not really a horror genre fan. So I have like, other than like jump scares and stuff, I don't really have any concept of what goes on in a horror film other than like, is there a point where they ring each other on the phone and go, "What the?" No, that's a scary movie. That's like that's the spook. No, it's like I actually have no concept of. I know the characters. I know your Freddy's, your Jasons, your Ghost Faces.
Who would you?
Horror is not my thing.
No,
I'm an out and out wolf when it comes to scary movies and horror stuff. So it's not my jam.
no, that's fine.
But I'm happy. I'm happy to be killed in the Mambo cut of whatever Sunshine Machine horror film we concoct in this moment.
All right.
I'm happy to be the first one to die. Oh,
Deeks is in there then. Oh, yeah, you can be the first guy to die. You get like the coolest death because it's like the ultimate villain who will be Nino Bryant.
Yeah. That's a wild card. I tell you, Nino is the ultimate villain. That's the one. That's where
great twist.
But he doesn't get unmasked until right at the end with the lone survivor, Xander Bryant. Oh
God.
I feel like Sasha Muff would be good in a horror movie.
yes.
How many people is that? 4.
That's 4.
And then we get one more.
Yeah, you got one more. Session Moth would be a really wild one for a horror movie as well, because like
Who else?
but he got on as like the false killer, you know, the guy that you think is the killer up and
The other one everyone thought was obviously guilty.
But he's the red herring.
It was just red herring, which would of course be
There's a lot of good villains. There's a lot.
Jordan Breaks.
Oh,
I don't trust their sideburns even than anyone else. But he was innocent all along. Why?
That's why again, going back to Simpsons, that's why Mr. Burns kept getting that guy who's at the baseball episode, like getting that guy to shave his sideburns. There's something off about sideburns. Something off about them.
I think if I could grow them, I would have them.
They are impressive. I'll give it to Jordan. They're impressive sideburns,
They
but
certainly are.
It's like once you get to that point, it's just a maintenance thing, isn't it? You don't need to keep growing your sideburns. You just need to maintain
I
them.
guess it keeps them in place, right? Stay there.
if anything, the maintaining them's got to be more of a pain than just keeping them. You know what I mean? Like that's a lot of effort.
Getting a solid line and all that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure you just zip them with a number 3. You just keep them, at bay.
Just every morning, just like little go over.
As Breaks his next viral YouTube TikTok sensation.
Already
Pinning my sideburns.
TJ's already seen to that. Already lost penalty shootout. Like, what's next?
I thought the kids are going to
Huh?
I thought the kids are going to put him through the table. I think that would probably suck.
Look, it's only for trained professionals. We can't be letting these kids try it at home. That's the last thing you want to be doing. So
The pitch is their home.
Yeah.
That's why they beat you.
But now I feel like now to get actually just on a wild tangent, I feel like we now just need you versus Jordan in all different types of sports.
Well, you'd be surprised what we've got in the can coming up. Actually, I think there's a mini golf one and a rugby one coming up. So
yes, oh my god,
I can't say much more than that. I can't say much more than that.
That's fine. But I can't believe this is now turning into like just the ultimate sporting challenge.
Would you do air hockey? Or Jenga?
Bit of darts or something, yeah.
That would actually be kind of cool. Yeah, I'm sure we could find a pub with giant Jenga.
Oh yeah. Or like just a whole run, like you mentioned the air hockey, like just a whole run around like an arcade that you get like a bowling alley or something. Just every single game.
Oh my god, I played Skills the other day at this pub. It's so good.
Skills is just skills.
We get the most tickets in like half an hour or something.
Oh yeah. Oh, we got a series here. This is good. This is like, there's legs in this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking forward to the next episodes now. This is going to be good. This is going to be very good. Well, I think that leads us beautifully on to my last question, which is for you guys again. Like, I remember last time you guys came on again, like you had all of those, you had a lot of those, you had the Progress belts, you had the RevPro belts as like the two main tier. And I remember like saying, what's the next year hold? And you said you want to hold them for as long as possible, keep those runs going. And you did a great job with both those titles, and you're doing a great job now leading into that. So that's the key question is what's next for Sunshine Machine? What does the next year hold? If we were having this conversation this time in 12 months, and I said to you guys, if it been another good year for Sunshine Machine, what would constitute that for you guys? Both in the ring and like, I guess personally as well. Mambo, I'll come to you first.
Well, it'd be nice to get a little bit more travel under our belts. Maybe branch out some more. We got some, it's all quite uncharted territory, but a little trip to North America in the books, right, Teeks?
Ooh.
So that should, we'll see where that goes. Maybe nowhere, maybe somewhere. So it'll be good. And yeah, just got a little bit of, what would you call it? Professional attention with Sanity at the minute. Progress, so maybe we can get that aired out, and then beat the Smoke Lasers and get back to the top of the mountain. And I would fucking love to wrestle at OTT in Ireland.
Yeah, absolutely. So, like you mentioned, I can't believe I didn't pick up on that, but you mentioned the stuff with Sanity as well. Like, it'd be nice to put that under the bridge, wouldn't it? Like, just iron out that, because I know there's been.
We fuck at the office sometimes, man.
I wasn't even there, and they're kicking off at me.
It doesn't really seem that.
It's just association, isn't it? That's the thing. It's just association.
Yeah.
And what else? Well, the other belts that we've never even had is Riot Cabaret, where I feel like we're as close to home talent as you can get.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Riot Cabaret got out of the way to regularly describe us as the heart and soul of Riot Cabaret, which like I graciously accept the nickname. Yeah. By the same token, exactly what Mambo's saying. We still have never. Mambo's the man. He's already been Riot Cabaret world champ, but I am yet to do anything more significant than beat Kara and Spike Trevay alongside my best mate. So,
that was hell of a fun time. Yeah, there's a lot
of unfinished business, which I like. I think it's important. As well, actually, like, sorry to take on one more tangent, but like you mentioned, like the Riot match, and we had Nino and Xander Bryant on the show a little while back, and I asked them about that match you guys had, and like the thing, like obviously it was mental, and like I said to Xander, I was like, who decided that you were the one taking the like a majority of the punishment? Because it seemed like every time I looked, he was getting hit with something, or being died on from somewhere. But like, it was a great match you guys had. And the thing that stuck me most was like, because I asked Nino and Xander about this, and they didn't know, but like, what was up with the ladders? Because the ladders were bending in weird ways that I'd never seen ladders bend before. And I was like, were they like gimmick ladders? And he was like, no, they were like legit ladders. Oh,
yeah, where they got them? There was some sort of weird, like, kind of metal, but also kind of plastic. I don't, they were real sturdy. But then like the second we kind of like muddled them a bit, like as soon as the legs went, they were just like, oh, okay, it's just the ladder doesn't, if the ladder's supposed to be like this, I'll stand it and it'll just go like, so never really question wrestling promotion ever gets their hardware from. You just kind of accept that, oh, if we're doing a TLC, I assume you're getting tables, ladders, and chairs. From where? From B&Q, from Poundland? I don't know. So
I was going to say with that one, like, Mambo, I'm going to just quickly again, just sorry to take on another tangent, but like with that match especially, that was such a great match. It was such a brilliant match. But like, again, I feel like the first time TK, me and you spoke way back when Rap Theory started a few years ago, and then when we had you both on together, like, it seemed like you guys were, again, like almost like your channel was, you were like in that quest to like escape the mid card and stuff. You were like on that journey. But like now having especially matches like that with these young guys like Xander, where like, again, they're just disgustingly young and so talented. Like,
yeah.
Does it make, again, not to age or anything, but do you guys feel like the vets now? Do you feel like vets of the locker room where like when you're having those matches and helping these guys raise their profiles?
But I think there was a funny thing coming out of COVID where before COVID and the lockdown and everything, we were really like, we felt really, really, really good, but maybe we felt like we were better than we were getting the platform to show it on in a way. And then coming out of COVID, so much had changed and like so many top guys, for whatever reasons, weren't there that we were almost like de facto in this new crop of people that like didn't necessarily like get built to the top. Like it was almost like the top all went away. And then, so there was like this really cool period of time where there was like lots of different people that were like kind of trying to like just do the absolute best we could to like rebuild stuff. Hopefully this doesn't sound really, really vain. What I'm saying is, I don't really know what I'm saying, but like we all like worked our nuts off to like try and really like build everything back. And I feel really like proud that the small part that we played in like getting the scene, like getting the houses back and everything like that. So I guess in a way, but in other ways, I feel like some days that, like before I was too young, and now I feel like, oh, now I'm the old guy. And but I don't know that I particularly feel like a veteran. But then when you think about it, you look back, we've had like 10 plus years of being in some really cool like places, had some really sweet matches. So especially I think we've really hit our stride this last 3 or 4 years, like basically since we started being Sunshine Machine. And for sure, I'm not saying like, oh, this was my last year or anything like that, but you never know how long you do have left. And I really would like to feel like we'd like paid it forward, because we had certainly like even like the experiences that like Grizzled Young Vets and Eddie especially, and like people like bestowed upon us the time they took to like really help us become better wrestlers. I'd really like to feel before the boots get hung up that we could do that for some teams. And there's amazing teams coming through, people like the Bryants and TWA, and there's no one that I can't name all right. But anyway, there's like tons. So the scene is in mighty good hands.
Yeah, I would say just purely on like tenure, like how long we've been in the business. Yeah, sure, by de facto, we are the vets. But then also, like I would never consider myself a veteran at all, despite, you know, how like that might have us perceived. But then you look back on like our accolades, you would also think, oh, like they've done so much that they kind of, that we tick a lot of boxes for why we should be considered vets. But I wouldn't ever in my own head think like, you know, I'd never walk into a show and be like, these new guys better give me some respect because I'm the vet over here. Like know what I've done and know where I've been, and like I just have no concept of that for myself or Mambo. I just don't think we fit that. Like whatever in my head is the perception of what a veteran old wrestler, old is such like negative connotations, but you know, like whatever is perceived to be a vet, I just don't see it as us.
No, sure. Like yeah,
I do understand. I do kind of understand like the responsibility that we have being like the older guys in the locker room now with like a little bit more experience and other people doing like things further afield, being slightly more accomplished in this weird, wacky world of professional wrestling, that we do just have like maybe a little bit more to say, a little bit more to contribute now to like kind of guide younger people to avoid all the pitfalls. You know, I feel it's like that's like any older generations like responsibility is to like, here's all the things I did wrong. Here's how you can avoid them so you don't do them. And then it's up to you to whether or not take that advice on board or just do it anyway and find out for yourself. So
my thing is I'd give it. Oh, sorry. Okay. Yeah.
No, I'm done.
I would like give advice to anyone that wanted it, but I never think like, I would never like feel confident to just be like, hey,
100%. I would never ever approach anybody. I would never ever approach anybody with advice. I will because I never want to come across as a burden. So I will always, if anybody wants my advice, they are welcome to come and ask me. I feel like a lot of the times I get, and I'm sure Mambo can probably confirm this. I come across as very unapproachable, and
I have heard that.
So a lot of people don't bother. But again, we have equally been doing this for some time, so probably have some sort of relatively good perspective on frivolous. So,
no, I get that, and I appreciate that, because like you say, like the word, I think like you say, the word vet on like old wrestling locker room can have like certain negative connotations, but like I did mean in that way of like just feeling more like, you know, up for like helping that new crop coming through, or like you say, not giving advice, but if they ask for advice, being more comfortable dishing out and saying from your experience.
Two things we can do as well that I think we did pretty well, at least as best as we can. No, it's not like we're like, hey, this locker room is going to be like this and this and this. But like there was locker rooms, you know, when we were getting into it, there was like a lot of horrible behavior and stuff, I suppose, or like general tones. But like we can control that. Like if anyone did see us as like people that you could follow advice from, or like take any influence from, we can control that. Like we're nice to everybody. Like we're not like fucking moody about stuff, and with it, you know, just being nice and not like having some horrible bullying culture in the locker room. I feel like that's a nice thing we can do. And then the other thing that is really fun, really, really fun, and we did get to do more of this year, is like guiding sounds a little bit concept, but like structuring matches that have like our level of fun and excitement, but for people that are relatively new at like tag team wrestling or maybe wrestling as a whole, and like making that like a really fun experience. I think that's really cool, because I remember wrestling Rascals with Omari. And they were just like, guys, we got this. You guys are just going to slide in here. Like, not like you're just going to slide in here and here, but like, this is how we like to approach wrestling. And it always fucking works. And sure enough, when we were in there with them, it really did work. Like, so feeling like there's like some sort of lesson you can give some of the newer guys. Or like at least like a not really daunting first experience of it. Because definitely there's been matches as well where people, I was just like, oh, I don't know this one.
No, for sure. Like the perfect example of that for my mind is, again, like go back to purpose, is like when you guys faced Sapphire and Maya Matthews, and like that was like the only time they tagged together, or something, like the first time they tagged together. And like I don't know how you structured it behind the scenes, but like obviously Saph and Maya very, very early on in their careers, obviously like Maya no longer doing it and like missed them, but like Saph is still very early on in her career, but like the way that match was structured, however you did it, it felt like, even though that was their first match tagging together, they didn't miss a beat. It felt like you all shone. It felt like you guys are as great as you always are, but like you elevated them as well in terms of showing what they could do in that setting that was a different setting to what they were used to as well. And like that's sort of, I mean, in terms of like just lending that experience in those sort of situations.
Thanks, man.
Like just it really shone through, because I felt like, I was like, it's crazy, because like if you told me that was their first match teaming together, I never would have believed it. And like, I was like the way it flowed, the way again, I don't know how it worked backstage, but however you made it work, it worked so perfectly. That was such a great match.
I will say they are.
Thank you very much.
Really good. So it might not have been that much to do with us, that one. It just really bad.
In the same way that the phrase "two to tango" applies, obviously in a tag match, you just double that. But it's very much, everybody's just doing their bit. So
for sure, that's what they say. That's the new slogan. That's the next T-shirt. That's the next ceasefire.
And they lost all their little bit of money.
What are we going to do with the 100 shirts we didn't sell?
Well, there's been some weird and wacky answers in the crowd during this podcast, and that, thank you guys. I do really appreciate your time, and that brings on to our final question, our final feature, I guess, of the show, because we have a closing segment here where our last guest leaves a question for our next guest without any knowledge of who they're going to be leaving it for.
Interesting.
So you've been asked a random question by a random guest, and this is a very random question. So I'll come to you each in turn. Mambo, we'll start with you, because this weirdly relates back to the whole Netflix thing. I don't know how this has been like genuinely very, very coincidentally put together, but it relates back to what we're talking about a certain Netflix movie, because it's would you rather wrestle a bear-sized badger or a badger-sized bear?
The chances. Well, I suppose you could get lucky, and if it was like a moon bear that was the size of a badger, that wouldn't actually be that devastating, would it?
I think in this context they mean like a proper, I would say like a grizzly or something like that.
Lie down. If it's black, attack. If it's white, good night.
Is that right? Is that a thing?
That's what I heard. Which would be such a bummer if you saw a polar bear, because you'd be like, oh, right.
That's why if it's a badger though.
A badger is both black and white, so you have to say good night. Interesting. But badgers are fucking really aggressive, I think.
Yeah.
They're like once they clench their jaws, but they're not as aggressive as a bear, are they? But if they were the size of a bear, they might be.
This is like I asked
nimble.
Huh?
I feel like they're less nimble. I've never seen a badger go up on his back legs.
No, but this is the tough question. That's the thing. I asked the person who asked this, and I was like, "That's a really random question." They were like, "Yeah, I just want to see what your guest thinks is more aggressive out of a bear and a badger."
Well, I'm assuming the honey badger don't come into it, because That's the most aggressive animal pound for pound in the world.
I really admire the thought you put into exactly what type of like animal this is. Like, I guarantee you, the person who asked this did not put this level of thought.
And yeah, just trying to leave all there the technicalities. I feel like maybe I'd rather see a badger the size of a bear, just because I've never seen one. It'd be like being
Yeah, this is wrestle.
Wrestle it.
Yeah,
It does seem less nimble than a bear.
mm-hmm.
Who was it? Like Tracy Smothers or Rip Rogers or someone used to wrestle bears. But then the thing had a chain around his neck. That racing pretty drunk. I'll wrestle the badger. I'll do it.
Wait, no, sorry, the badger-sized bear or the bear-sized badger? Badger-sized bear. No, bear-sized. You said you want to wrestle the badger. So badger-sized
Giant badger or the tiny bear?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Big badger.
Yeah, the bear.
The bear-sized badger. Was that a...
Yeah, I mean, that is an answer, but that seems like the wrong answer. TJ, like, you bang me out, that's the wrong answer, right?
You know, I was going to go bear-sized badger as well.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, they are. Oh, so like I said, like I would think I'd go for the badger-sized bear. No, now I'm confused, but the small.
You're right. What you're saying, the badger-sized bear is what you were
it's smaller, right? I feel like
it would make sense, actually.
I think regardless of size, the bear is the more dangerous option. So by default, you have to go with the badger.
This is where it's intriguing, because I would say the badgers are pretty like aggressive and dangerous, and if they were bigger, they could probably be harmed.
And bears, there's loads of videos on YouTube of Russian dudes playing with. You ever see that with a badger?
Yeah. Do you think the boy who could speak to badgers would be able to speak to a bear-sized badger?
Well, the thing about him was he spoke to animals, but like it's not like they ever spoke back or anything. They could all speak to animals.
He didn't have like Dr. Dolittle powers. He was literally just a human boy who spoke to badgers. They didn't have a conversation. They didn't have a conversation. He just literally spoke to them.
Oh, that seems way less interesting.
But the actions of the badger implied that he knew that he understood.
Right. Okay.
But it was just the implication, though. It wasn't actually like canonical fact that the badger had gone. Okay.
Well, that's the magic of the story.
Why?
Yeah, but that's the magic of the animal kingdom.
Because you never really know.
I love it. Wow, that's a beautiful place to end.
Teach me how players to come down.
Yeah. Amazing. Oh, Cooper Chuck Mambo, thank you so much for coming on the RevPro podcast. It's been a pleasure having you back. I hope you've enjoyed the mentalness of it again.
Yeah, it's been a joy. Yeah, it's been a real joy. Thank you.
Well, great.
Thank you guys so much. I really do appreciate it, and congrats on everything you've had going on. Genuinely, it's been, as usual, just such a thrill to watch you guys do what you do. You've absolutely smashed it. Like, again, there's a reason Sunshine Machine rules, right?
Come see what that is out on November 7th. Well, we're great wrestling for a great cause. Two great causes, actually, because it's Lebanese Red Cross and the UNICEF Gaza Appeal at Pro Wrestling Ceasefire.
Oh, I just said doubling down.
Oh,
They're going double or nothing.
Yeah. I was going to say, obviously, we end the podcast by giving our guests one final bit of promo time. So I'll come to each individually for different things. Mambo, first of all, again, one more plug for Pro Wrestling Ceasefire. If anyone's watching this, listening to this, and wants to come along, doesn't know what Ceasefire is about, what would you say to encourage them to head down on November 7th?
Pro Wrestling Ceasefire is going to be 4 incredible matches. You have Medusa Complex, who I don't think they're wrestling that often in this country. So it's like a pretty spectacular chance to watch some amazing tag teams and the rematch of the decade. It's for 2 really great causes, Lebanese Red Cross and UNICEF's Gaza Appeal. There's going to be Friends of Al-Aqsa there. I think we're going to have Palestine Solidarity Campaign from Brixton there as well. So it's a really cool opportunity to learn and raise some awareness about the actions you can take to pressure your representative, to pressure our government, to pressure Israel's government to stop committing war crimes.
Love that. Yeah, absolutely. And for you on the Sunshine Machine side of things, again, anyone sees Sunshine Machine on a show, on a poster, on a show near them, and they come and check you guys out, why are they going to see that Sunshine Machine rules?
Well, by this point, what are we doing? Happy Halloween, everybody. By this point, you would have seen us at Pro Wrestling Colossus dressed as, cut to whatever we just said, and at Progress Wrestling dressed as, I'm sure, again, there's a lot of rumor and innuendo about dressing up at Progress. Mambo literally posed the question on Twitter, and suddenly the internet exploded and said, you simply must dress up for Progress. So I can only imagine, I've left Mambo in charge of the costume department. By the time you watch this, you would have already found out, and I'm sure it was awesome. But I am very much at the mercy of Chuck Mambo at this point. We will be great. I take you on your word. Beyond that, though, we should be at Revolution Pros 229 event. We should be drawing a blank on future bookings, and I hope you are there for that.
There's a I Quit match, True and Lacey.
True and Lacey. That's on me.
Thanks.
And of course Ceasefire. Yeah, sorry, I don't want to talk about Ceasefire because we'd already covered it.
Yeah,
but the only in the future, it was spoken about earlier, and again, similar rumor and innuendo that Sunshine Machine may be going stateside before the year is out. So for all you Grapple Theory American fans and Canadian fans out there, be sure to keep an eye out for Sunshine Machine's Excellent Adventure. I don't know if that's what we're calling it, but I get that's what I'm calling it right now. So thank you very much.